Hi friends, welcome to Thinkers IAS. Today let us begin with PRADHAN MANTRI G1 YOJANA. This is JAIV INDHANVATAVARAN ANUKOOL FASAL AWASHESH NIVARAN. This scheme provides financial assistance for adopting biofuels, financial support to integrated bioethanol projects using lignocellulosic biomass and other renewable feedstock. Under this Yojana, 12 commercial scale and 10 demonstration scale second generation, that is 2G ethanol projects will be provided a viability gap funding VGA support in two phases in the period from 2018-19 to 2023-24. Under the RPO, distribution companies DISCOMs are required to have certain proportion of clean energy supplies. This crisp and to the point information is available only in Thinkers IAS PDF. So I request all the subscribers to download the PDF so you can have a good revision at this time. Okay, moving on. Now let us discuss regarding ocean energy. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has declared ocean energy as renewable energy. Ocean thermal energy conversion, that is OTEC, has a theoretical potential of 1,80,000 MW in India, subject to suitable technological evolution. This has a huge potential for India's green energy. KUSUM, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has issued operational guidelines for the implementation of Pradhan Mantri Kisan Arja Suraksha Evam Uttam Mahabhiyan, that is PMKUSUM scheme. In short, it is called as PMKUSUM. This scheme provides assistance for farmers to set up solar pumps in their farms. The scheme aims to provide energy security along with financial and water security to farmers. It would encourage farmers to generate solar power in their farms and use the clean energy to replace their diesel water pumps. It targets to add decentralized solar power capacity of 25,750 megawatts by 2022. It has three components. Component A provides for setting up of 10,000 megawatt decentralized ground stilt mounted grid connected solar of the renewable energy based power plants. Component B provides for off grid solar pumps in the farmlands. Component C provides solarization of grid connected electric pumps. Here, farmers can sell the excess power to the DISCOMs, that is distribution companies, through grids. Hence, it is a win-win situation. Now, let us look into enforcement and monitoring guidelines for sand mining. Recently, MOEFCC has realized the enforcement and monitoring guidelines for sand mining, that is EMGSM 2020. Please note that sand is a minor mineral defined under Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957, that is MMDR Act. Report by the Global Footprint Network. This report revealed that the Earth Overshoot Day has moved up by 2 months over the past 20 years, and this year's date is the earliest ever. Earth Overshoot Day is the date when humanity annual demand on nature exceeds what Earth can regenerate over the entire year. It is calculated by WWF and Global Footprint Network. Worldwide Fund for Nature, that is WWF. It is a Switzerland-based international NGO established in 1961 and engages in conservation of wildlife and natural habitat. Pacesetter Fund. It is a fund constituted by India and the USA in 2015 as a joint fund. It seeks to provide initial grant funding to accelerate the commercialization of innovative off-grid clean energy products, systems and business models. That is, it provides funding to promote clean energy. Sustainable livelihoods and adaptation to climate change. that is SLACC. It is a training program conducted by National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, that is NIRDPR. It is a certificate course to promote sustainable livelihood and fight climate change. SLACC is funded by the Special Climate Change Fund, which was set up under the UNFCCC for adaptation and capacity building projects. Global Assessment Report, that is GAR. Recently, a report called Global Assessment Report on Disaster Risk Reduction GAR was launched. It is published once in 2 years by the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, that is UNDRR, and is product of contributions of nations, public and private disaster risk related science and research amongst others. So, it compiles all the information. Please note, UNDRR is 99.2% funded through voluntary contributions. Asia Pacific region accounts for 40% of global economic losses due to extreme climate changes, with the greatest impact in the largest economies of Japan, China, Korea and India. SASAKAWA Award. UN conferred SASAKAWA Award to Dr. Pramod Kumar Mishra. It is the most prestigious international award in the area of disaster risk management. SENDAI Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015 to 2030. UNDRR was established in 1999 as part of the United Nations Secretariat, whereas Sendai Framework was endorsed by the UN General Assembly following the 2015 Third UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, that is WCDRR. The Sendai Framework is the successor instrument to the Hyogo Framework for Action, that is HFA 2005 to 2015, building the resilience of nations and communities to disasters. United Nations Environment Programme. It has universal membership with 193 member states. Headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. Please remember, it acts as a secretariat to various international conventions. These includes the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, the Minamata Convention on Mercury, the Basel Convention, Rotterdam Convention, Stockholm Convention, the Vienna Convention for the Protection of Ozone Layer and the Montreal Protocol, the Convention on the Migratory Species, the Bamako Convention Treaty of African Nations prevents hazardous waste imports to Africa, the Tehran Convention Protection of Marine Environment of the Caspian Sea. It is also instituted prestigious awards in the field of environment. These are Champions of the Earth, UN's highest environmental honor, the UN Environment Sasakawa Prize for Environment and Sustainable Development. UNEP also involved in various initiatives. These include the Faith for Earth initiative. It is strategically engaged with faith-based organizations to collectively achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, that is SDG, and fulfill the objectives of the SDG 2030 agenda. UN Environment Finance Initiative, that is UNEPFI. It is a partnership between UNEP and global financial institutions. Created as part of 1992 Earth Summit with a mission to promote sustainable finance, investors and insurance companies among others. UNEP launched its 10th edition of Emissions Gap Report 2019. It finds out the gap between anticipated emissions in 2030 and levels consistent with the 1.5 degree centigrade and 2 degree centigrade targets of the Paris Agreement. According to the report, GHG emissions have risen at a rate of 1.5% per year in the last decade. G20 account for 78% of all emissions. China, USA, EU and India, the top 4 worst polluters account for 55% of total emissions over the last decade, excluding emissions from land use change such as deforestation. Report states that even Paris Agreement is implemented, temperatures are expected to rise by 3.2 degree by the end of century. Please remember the publications from UNEP, it is very important, that is Our Planet, TANZA, Atlas of Our Changing Environment, Global Environment Outlook, and United Nations Environment Assembly, that is UNEA, is governing body of UNEP. India's NDC targets. As part of Paris Climate Deal, India gave commitment to fight global warming through NDC targets. These are as follows. India seeks to reduce the emissions intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from 2005 level. In the green energy front, it seeks to achieve about 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based energy resources by 2030. Through carbon sequestration, it seeks to create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030. WMO Statement on the State of the Global Climate in 2019. World Meteorological Organization through its statement declared that global mean temperature increased in 2019, which was about 1.1 degree centigrade above pre-industrial levels. It is recorded using Keeling curve. This is important. Keeling curve is a graph of accumulation of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere based on continuous measurements taken at the Mauna Loa Observatory. Mauna Loa Observatory, that is MLO, is the oldest continuous carbon dioxide, that is CO2 measurement station in the world, situated in Hawaii. Here all these record of carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere over a period of time is recorded in the observatory. Global atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide in 2018 had touched 407.8 parts per million, that is ppm, which was 147% of pre-industrial levels. WMO, World Meteorological Organization. It is an intergovernmental organization with a membership of 193 member states and territories. It is the specialized agency of the United Nations for meteorology, weather and climate, operational hydrology and related geophysical sciences. That's it for today. Please subscribe to our channel for more updates. Also, the information provided here are very crisp and to the point, and it will be very easy for you to do the preparations for Prelims 2020, which is just 45 days away. So, I request everybody to download the PDF, which will be very useful for the revision. The link to download is provided in the description box. Thank you.